As a driven dentist, you see the world differently. Where some see scarcity, you see abundance. When others want to give up, you keep going. You're building an amazing life of significance. That means you can't rely on ordinary advice from ordinary advisors to get to your goals. You want advice that's going to help maximize your net worth so you can take even better care of the people you love, the causes you care about, and make your dent in the universe. But the fact is, this advice remains hidden because relatively few professionals are well versed in them, and the extremely affluent don't care to let you know about them. Join us as we pull back the curtain to reveal the often hidden advice and strategies used by today's most successful individuals and families. Welcome to Dental Wealth Nation. Here's your host, Tim McNeely.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. I'm so excited to have you here. And we're going to be talking about something pretty important today, and that is aging. You know, they say the more birthdays you have, they're kind of dangerous because if you have too many, you're going to pass away. But they also say birthdays are a really good sign of health because the more birthdays you have, the longer you've lived. So there's my corny dad joke. Sorry, there's no more. I'm not a dad. That's probably why they were so terrible. But we're going to be talking about wealth planning today. And not just wealth planning for today, but also for your future specifically, right? What does wealth planning for age 90, 100, and even beyond look like? And by the time we finish today, you're going to know the three things that really should be considered. You're going to have a framework for making a decision, but most important, you're going to be excited about continuing to age because I believe that the best is ahead of you and you're going to be able to thrive no matter what happens. And so, you know, like I said, people are living longer, right? There's an Irish proverb that says, here's to a long life and a merry one. And that's what I wish for all of you. But we are living much, much longer these days. And that can present a challenge for many of us in terms of planning for our golden years. And especially if they continue on an additional 10 or 15 years past what you've planned. And so major medical bills can add up. They can become very expensive. And it can absolutely wreck some of the planning you've done if you haven't done proper longevity planning. And so this longevity planning is becoming more and more important as you consider your planning, and especially successful families out there, they are integrating this longevity planning. And two of the ways that wealth management and longevity planning are really being integrated goes back to concierge and specialized medical care. So what's this? What's concierge care and what's specialized medical care? Well, any discussion of really talking about living that longer life and being vibrant and thriving during your longer life has to include the medical component. And these days, having a good team of doctors around you is so important. Good care is getting harder and harder to find. And so really there's a rise in concierge practices and boutique medical services. And essentially for a membership fee, you get access to these boutique medical practices with a relatively small ratio of patients to a physician that can enable shorter wait times for you. And you can get actually real personalized care from a doctor who understands you and your goals and your health. But the problem is high quality concierge medicine, it can be very expensive depending on the care needed and the different providers that are involved. And so therefore the ability to really use wealth management to model potential cost of what concierge healthcare and some specialized medicine may cost is really, really important. And so I just want to give you one example. And if you want a copy of this report, I'm happy to send it to you. Just go ahead and put the comment, say, hey, Tim, send me the report, or just put a comment in there, send me a DM, reach out to me. I'll get this in your hands. I'd be more than happy to get you a copy. But when it comes to the concierge medical care, right? Here's an example. Take a very wealthy family, about $30 million in net worth. And a lot of it is tied up in the family business. That may sound familiar to you, right? It may be tied up in your DSO and may not be very liquid. And there's a family member comes along who's going to require some significant and costly state-of-the-art treatments. They're only available, though, in a foreign country. Once again, this is just a scenario to show you how this plays out. And there's going to be some significant post-treatment rehabilitation required, and being able to prepare financially for that kind of event, being able to get the genomic testing that has to be done in terms of making some of the choices and making sure that your family members are getting the best care possible, you're going to want to bring in some advanced uses and some different forms of insurance that can potentially help you address those healthcare needs. And so once again, the integration of wealth planning and longevity planning is absolutely huge. The next thing you want to consider is estate planning, right? If you live longer, it absolutely impacts your estate planning. And estate planning, this is really another key aspect for you to think about when it comes to your longevity plan. Once again, longer lifespans, peoples and families may want to reconsider exactly how they're doing their estate plannings and even the entire mindset about how to transfer wealth to people you love. And so specifically what we're seeing in the research in high net worth families is they're really thinking about how and when to transfer assets to subsequent generations. It's not just we're going to do it at our death. They really want to plan and think about how and when to transfer. And so, successful business owners, right, expects to live past 100 years old, right? What do you do? How do you hand over the company, right? And what age? Do you do that in your 70s? Do you do it in your 80s, your 90s? Like, when do you hand that business over? So once again, you could have some potentially disastrous family consequences if that's not real thought through, if there's not a lot of foresight through that. And, a best practice, oftentimes it can actually be wise to transfer assets before death, because that can head off a lot of potential problems for you. It can really help with some of the legal things and assets disappearing and family disputes. But once again, this has to be really looked at in the context of your entire life. And then lastly, the thing you'll want to really consider is finding longevity planning in your lifetime. So what do I mean about that? Well, as you move forward and as you think about your future, as you think about your turning 50 or 60 or 70 or 80, or maybe you're already there, right? As you think about growing older, I really want you to think about, rising healthcare costs and state-of-the-art treatments. Have you thought about the costs that may be involved in that? Secondly, are you adequately concerned about how living past 100 could really cause impact to your assets, could possibly draw them down quicker than what you were thinking about, and even pass those assets on to loved ones? And then lastly, are you working with an elite wealth manager who's knowledgeable about longevity planning and who can really help you take the steps so that you can get the health care you afford and leave that legacy that you want on your terms, right? Are you working with a wealth manager who's going to help you thrive in the midst of an uncertain world? And the truth is, longevity planning is really, really helpful. It can help your family move forward. But the real risk you face as you look for a longevity-focused wealth manager is you might put your trust in some professionals who actually aren't qualified to really help you. We call these advisors pretenders, right? They're well-meaning advisors, but they just don't have the technical expertise to serve you and your family the way you should be. So if you're all uncertain about who you're working with, well, I want to give you a playbook straight from the super rich. You should stress test your plans. You should do what our president, Ronald Reagan, said: trust but verify. And that's a great way to get a second opinion and really make sure your plans are going to deliver as expected. And if you do that, if you take those 3 basic steps, right? If you really ask yourself that question, are you concerned as you should be about the rising healthcare costs and state-of-the-art treatments? Are you adequately concerned about how living past 100 or even past that can impact your assets? And then lastly, are you working with an elite wealth manager who's really knowledgeable about longevity planning? So ask yourself those questions. Like I said, if you want this report, happy to send it to you. It goes into detail in each one of these areas, and be happy to send that to you. Once again, just put it in the comments or send me a message on whatever platform you're seeing this in, and I will get that off to you. And if you do that, if you consider these things, you're going to be well on your way to thriving in the midst of an uncertain world. And you're going to be on your way to taking even better care of the people you love, supporting the causes you care about, and really making that difference in the world. My name is Tim McNeely, and until I see you again, get out there and make it a great day.
You've been listening to Dental Wealth Nation. We hope you've gotten some useful and practical information from the show. Join us next time as we pull back the curtain to reveal the often hidden advice and strategies used by today's most successful individuals and families, and help maximize your net worth so you can take even better care of the people you love. Till next time, make sure to hit the website at dentalwealthnation.com.